There are creatures that live in folklore, passed down through generations, growing in the telling, shaped by culture and tradition, until they become something symbolic rather than something real. Most people hear those stories and file them away as mythology. And then there are creatures that appeared without warning in living memory, reported by ordinary people who had no reason to invent what they were describing. Creatures that left physical evidence. Dead animals, puncture wounds, bodies drained in ways that veterinarians struggled to explain. The Chupacabra is not an ancient legend. It did not come from centuries of oral tradition. It exploded into the world in the mid-1990s, reported first by farmers who were finding their livestock dead in ways they had never seen before, and it spread across an entire continent in less than a decade. This is the history of one of the most unusual and persistent cryptid cases ever documented. Where it came from, what people have reported seeing, and why decades later, it still has no satisfactory explanation. The name Chupacabra comes from Spanish. Chupar means to suck. Cabra means goat, the goat sucker. It is not a poetic name. It is a descriptive one, given by the people who were losing their animals to something that killed in a specific and deeply strange way. The earliest confirmed reports come from Puerto Rico in 1995. In the town of Canavanas and the surrounding municipalities, farmers began discovering animals dead in their fields and enclosures. Goats, sheep, chickens, rabbits. The pattern was consistent and disturbing. The animals had not been mauled. There were no signs of a struggle, no torn flesh, no scattered remains, nothing to suggest a conventional predator attack. Instead, the animals had small, precise puncture wounds, typically 2 holes, close together, located on the neck or chest, and they appeared to be drained of blood. Not completely in every case, but significantly, in a way that puzzled the people examining the carcasses. The killings happened at night. Whatever was doing this was not being seen. And the numbers were not small. Reports from Puerto Rico in 1995 numbered in the hundreds of animals across multiple farms and multiple communities within a matter of months. Then someone saw it. In August of 1995, a woman named Madeline Tolentino reported seeing the creature in Canavanas. Her description was detailed and specific. She described a bipedal creature, roughly 4 to 5 feet tall, with a lean body, large oval eyes that she described as dark and elongated, small arms with clawed hands, and a row of spines or quills running down its back from the base of the skull to the tail. The skin she described as gray or dark, rough in texture. It moved, she said, with an unusual gait, not quite like any animal she had seen. It was fast, and it looked, by her account, like nothing she had a name for. Her description became the template. When artists rendered the creature based on her testimony, that image spread across Puerto Rico and then across Latin America and then across the world. The Chupacabra had a face. What happened next was remarkable. Reports began coming in from beyond Puerto Rico almost immediately. By 1996, sightings and livestock deaths with matching characteristics were being reported across Latin America, Mexico, Nicaragua, Brazil. The pattern of small puncture wounds and drained animals appeared in country after country. Some reports described creatures matching Tolentino's bipedal description. Others described something different, a 4-legged animal, roughly the size of a coyote or small dog, with rough, gray, almost hairless skin, a pronounced spinal ridge, and the same large eyes that appeared across all accounts. Whether these were the same creature, 2 different creatures, or something else entirely, remains one of the central unresolved questions of the entire phenomenon. By the early 2000s, reports had crossed into the southern United States. Texas became a hotspot, and the cases began producing something that the Puerto Rico sightings largely had not: physical remains. Let us look at 3 of the most significant and widely reported sightings in the history of the Chupacabra. In 2004, a rancher in Elmendorf, Texas named Devin McCanely lost nearly 30 chickens to something that was killing them without eating them. The pattern was familiar to anyone who had been following the Chupacabra reports: puncture wounds, blood loss, no consumption of the carcass. McCanely eventually shot and killed the animal he believed was responsible. What he produced was genuinely strange. The creature was roughly the size of a coyote, but did not look like one. It had almost no hair across its entire body, leaving gray, leathery skin exposed. Its teeth were unusual, elongated in a way that struck veterinarians and wildlife officials as atypical for the species they were trying to assign it to. Its hind legs appeared longer in proportion than a standard coyote, giving it a distinctive hunched posture. Wildlife officials who examined the carcass suggested it was likely a coyote with a severe case of mange, a parasitic skin condition that causes hair loss and can dramatically alter an animal's appearance. That explanation was offered, but critics of that conclusion noted that the skeletal and dental anomalies were harder to attribute to mange alone. McAnally himself was not satisfied.
Been ranching here 6 years. I know every animal track in 3 counties. And these tracks, they just didn't match anything I'd ever seen.
The creature he shot did not match any animal he had encountered in years of ranching in that region. The Elmendorf creature, as it became known, was the first piece of physical evidence in the American phase of the Chupacabra phenomenon. Whatever it was, it existed. It had been photographed. It had been examined. And it defied simple categorization in ways that kept the case alive long after it might otherwise have faded. 4 years later, in 2008, in Cuero, Texas, a woman named Phyllis Canyon made national news when she reported finding a strange animal dead on the road near her property. She had been losing chickens for years, killed in the familiar pattern: small puncture wounds, blood loss, no consumption. When she found the animal, she photographed it, preserved its head in a freezer, and went public. The Cuero creature was hairless, blue-gray in color, with large ears, pronounced claws, and the same unusual proportions that had appeared in the Elmendorf case. Canyon submitted DNA samples for testing. The results, when they came back, identified the animal as a coyote, but a coyote with DNA from a Mexican wolf in its lineage, a hybrid combination that had not been widely documented in that region. The mange explanation was offered again for the hairlessness. What that explanation did not fully address was the behavior. Coyotes with mange do not systematically kill livestock through puncture wounds and leave the body entirely uneaten.
It appeared shortly after sundown, moving slow across the south pasture. Now, I'm not saying it was anything extraordinary, but it certainly wasn't one of ours.
Predator behavior and the killing pattern being reported did not align neatly, and Canyon, who was not someone prone to sensationalism, maintained that what she had been dealing with was not a standard coyote operating in a standard way. Our third case takes us back to where the phenomenon began. In 2018, in the municipality of Vega Baja in Puerto Rico, a farmer reported a fresh wave of livestock deaths with the now familiar characteristics. What made this case notable was the response. A local investigation that included the examination of the dead animals by people with veterinary knowledge, and the production of documented photographs of the wounds that circulated widely. The puncture wounds in the Vega Baja case were described as precise to a degree that struck investigators as inconsistent with known predators in the region. Puerto Rico does not have large native predators. The mongoose, introduced to the island in the 19th century, is the most commonly cited explanation for anomalous animal deaths, but the mongoose attacks in a way that looks different from what was being documented. The wounds were deep, close together, and appeared to target the neck and upper chest with a consistency that felt deliberate. No animal was caught. No creature was photographed. The deaths stopped after several weeks, as they had in previous Puerto Rico outbreaks without resolution. The history of the Chupacabra sits in uncomfortable territory. It is too recent to be pure mythology. The physical evidence, the carcasses, the photographs, the DNA results, exists and has been examined by people with scientific credentials. The conventional explanations, mange, known predators, misidentification, address some of what has been reported, but leave edges that do not fit neatly. What is undeniable is this: across 30 years, across multiple countries, people with no connection to each other and no obvious motive to fabricate have reported the same killing pattern, the same wound characteristics, and in many cases, the same creature. A lean, strange, fast-moving animal that kills without eating and disappears without being definitively identified. The goat sucker. It arrived in 1995 without history or precedent. It spread faster than any folkloric creature should be able to spread among people who had no shared tradition to draw from. And it has never fully gone away. Whatever people are seeing in the fields at night, whatever is leaving those puncture wounds and those drained bodies, it has not stopped. The reports continue. The animals keep dying. And the question that started all of this in a small Puerto Rican town 3 decades ago remains exactly where it began. What is doing this? If this raised more questions than it answered for you, leave them in the comments. And if you want to go deeper into cases that sit outside easy explanation, subscribe. There is a lot more ground to cover.